Hello, ACC parents, and welcome back. We're excited to continue talking about communion with you.
Yeah.
So last week we talked a lot about what happens and why it happens, and this week we wanted to over-communicate some logistics with you about what happens here.
Yeah. So September 4th will be the first Sunday that we all have communion together. And again, the reason with which we're doing this is because we believe as a church that we want to be an intergenerational body. We feel like that's what God has called us to. And so when we have sacraments like baptism, like communion, we want our kids, we want our students to participate in that because the body is better when it has everyone a part of it. And so your kids are an important part of the church. You are an important part of the church. And what better way to be the church than to have these spiritually significant moments together.
So here's how this is going to work. Your infants, toddlers, and preschoolers are going to stay in their classrooms to be picked up by you at the end of service. But your elementary kids are going to come upstairs with me, and they're going to find you in your seat. So if you see them before they see you, wave them down to have them join you. And then you're going to do regular communion the way that it's always done. So they're going to follow you through the aisles, take a piece of bread, take a cup of juice, and then sit back down with you.
Right. And this is a choice. As a parent, you get to decide if your kids are ready to take communion. Nothing in the church is forced. There are all opportunities for us to experience God in new ways. So if you don't feel like your kids are ready for communion or you want to have more conversation with them, please do that.
Mm-hmm.
We do encourage that you continue to have them in line with you, for them to walk down to the communion table with you. Our servers are trained not to make kids feel awkward if they don't take communion, but we want them to be a part of that moment, for them to see the church doing this together so that they can ask questions and they can be curious about what's going on in the life of the church.
And so in the video for the kids that you're going to be able to watch as well, we're encouraging our kids to ask hard questions like, what does it mean for you to take communion? What was the first time that you took communion? How did it feel for you? How did you ever figure out that Jesus was real and for you too? They're going to have a lot of questions for you, and we want to give you the tools to answer them before they ask.
Right. So last week we talked about this little flyer that we have that has some great resources for you to answer some of those questions, but everyone's journey is different. Everyone's spiritual story is different. It's a beautiful thing about the body of Christ and what we do together. And so be thinking about that, and hopefully in this process it reminds you of the importance of communion and what it is that Christ has done for us, this transformational love that Christ offers and that God gives through his son on the cross. Hopefully it reminds us of that and reminds us of the importance that we are loved by God.
Absolutely.
And your kids are loved by God, and you are loved by God, and everyone is loved by God, and how great is that? If you have any questions, we would love to answer those. Please get back to us here in the email or call or text. We never want you to feel like you can't ask us questions about what's going on. So if you have anything else you have, don't hesitate to reach out.
Absolutely. We'll see you at communion.
Take care.